Golden whispers. Sofia, a dedicated artist, stood before the canvas, her paintbrush poised, her studio bathed in the warm glow of the setting Viennese sun. She had been working on this piece for months, pouring her heart and soul into every brushstroke. Yet, she felt a gentle whisper of inspiration eluding her. The painting depicted two lovers locked in an intimate embrace, their forms adorned with intricate patterns of gold and vibrant splashes of color. But their faces remained blank, featureless voids that haunted Sofia's dreams. With a frustrated sigh, she set down her brush and stepped back, studying her work. The couple seemed to float in a field of flowers, their golden robes shimmering with an almost ethereal light. It was beautiful, yes, but hollow. Empty. A knock at the door startled her from her reverie. "Come in," she called, hastily covering the canvas. Her assistant, Marcus, entered, his eyes bright with excitement. "Sofia, you won't believe who's here to see you." Before she could respond, a tall figure appeared in the doorway. Sofia's breath caught in her throat as she recognized Gustav Klimt, the renowned painter whose work had inspired her artistic journey. His unexpected visit sent a jolt of excitement through her, like a sudden burst of inspiration. "Herr Klimt," she stammered, quickly composing herself. "This is an unexpected honor." The older man smiled warmly, his eyes twinkling with curiosity. "The honor is mine, Fräulein Weber. I've heard whispers of your talent, and simply had to see for myself." Sofia felt a blush creep up her neck. "You're too kind. I'm but a humble student of your mastery." Klimt chuckled, shaking his head. "We are all students, my dear. Now, might I see what you're working on?" Hesitantly, Sofia removed the cloth covering her painting. She held her breath as Klimt studied it, his expression unreadable. After what felt like an eternity, he spoke. "There's passion here and skill. But something's missing, isn't it?" Sofia nodded, relieved that he understood. "The faces. I can't seem to capture them. It's as if they're hiding from me." Klimt stroked his beard thoughtfully. "Perhaps they are. Tell me, Sofia, what inspired this piece?" She hesitated, unsure how to explain the dream that had haunted her for months. It's a vision I can't shake. Two souls intertwined, on the precipice of something profound. But I can't see their faces or understand what they're feeling." "Ah," Klimt said softly. "You're trying to paint an emotion you haven't experienced yourself." Sofia felt a pang of embarrassment. "Is it that obvious?" The older artist's eyes softened. "Love, true love, cannot be imagined or invented. It must be lived, felt in every fiber of your being." He gestured to the painting. "Your technique is flawless, and your use of color and pattern is inspired. But without the heart behind it, it remains just a beautiful shell." Sofia's shoulders slumped. "Then what am I to do? How can I finish this if I've never?" Klimt placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "My dear, the answer is not in here." He tapped her forehead gently. "It's out there." He pointed to the window, where the last rays of sunlight painted the sky in hues of gold and crimson. "Go," he urged. "Live. Experience. Let your heart guide your brush, not your mind." His words echoed in Sofia's mind, a guiding light in her artistic journey. With those parting words, Klimt bid her farewell, leaving Sofia alone with her thoughts and unfinished masterpiece. That night, unable to sleep, Sofia wandered the moonlit streets of Vienna. The city hummed with quiet energy, with lovers strolling arm in arm and music drifting from open windows. As she rounded a corner, she collided with a young man carrying an armful of flowers. They tumbled to the ground in a cascade of petals and apologies, a serendipitous meeting that would change Sofia's life. "I'm so sorry," Sofia exclaimed, helping to gather the scattered blooms. The man looked up, and their eyes met. In that moment, something shifted in Sofia's world. His warm brown eyes crinkled with laughter, and she felt her heart skip a beat. "No harm done," he said, his voice rich and harmonious. "I'm Anton." "And you are?" "Sofia," she replied, suddenly shy. They spent the rest of the night talking, and walking through the lamplit parks and along the Danube. Anton was a musician, and his passion for music matched Sofia's love of art. As the first light of dawn touched the sky, Sofia realized she had never felt so alive. In the weeks that followed, Sofia and Anton's relationship blossomed. She showed him her studio, her unfinished painting. He played his violin for her, composing melodies inspired by her art. With each passing day, Sofia felt her perspective shifting. The world seemed brighter and more vibrant. Slowly, the faces in her painting began to take shape, like a fog lifting to reveal a beautiful landscape. One evening, as they sat in her studio, Anton's arms wrapped around her as she painted, Sofia realized what had been missing all along. She had been trying to capture a moment, a feeling from the outside. But now, enveloped in Anton's warmth, she understood. The painting wasn't about two separate individuals coming together. It was about the moment when two souls recognized themselves in each other, when the boundaries between self and other blurred and dissolved in a golden haze of love. With renewed passion, Sofia threw herself into her work. The blank faces came alive under her brush, filled with tenderness, desire, and a touch of awe. The patterns in their robes began to intertwine, no longer separate but part of a greater whole. Months passed, and finally Sofia stepped back from her canvas, the paintbrush slipping from her fingers. It was done. Anton came to stand beside her, his breath catching as he took in the finished piece. "Sofia," he whispered, "it's us." And it was. Not in any literal sense. The figures bore no physical resemblance to them. But the emotion, the connection between the two lovers, was unmistakably theirs. The next day, Sofia invited Klimt back to her studio. The older artist studied the painting silently, his eyes misting with emotion. "My dear," he said finally, his voice thick, "you have created a masterpiece not just of art but of the human heart." Sofia smiled, leaning into Anton's embrace. "I had a good teacher," she said softly. 2. As word of Sofia's painting spread, it captured the imagination of Vienna's art world. Critics praised its bold use of color and pattern, and its fusion of realistic and abstract elements. But what touched people most was its raw emotion, the sense of two souls merging into one. Sofia went on to create many more celebrated works, but none ever quite matched the power of that first golden masterpiece. For in it, she had captured not just a moment but the essence of love itself, timeless, transcendent, and forever intertwined with the artistic spirit that had given it life.